The stars looked different from the horizon gate. Do-yun had been working on this station for 2 years, but he still was not used to it. From Earth, stars were tiny points of light. From here, at the edge of known space, they were bright and close. Some of them were not stars at all. They were ships. Thousands of ships from species that humans had only met 5 years ago. Do-yun was an aerospace engineer. He fixed things. He built things. He understood machines and systems and logic. What he did not understand was politics. And he certainly did not understand why Commander Park was calling him to the central office at 11 o'clock at night. He walked through the quiet corridors of the station. The Horizon Gate was humanity's first embassy in space. It was a place where humans met aliens, signed treaties, and tried very hard not to start any wars. Do-yun had nothing to do with any of that. He worked in the engine rooms. He talked to machines, not diplomats. The door to the commander's office opened with a soft sound. Do-yun stepped inside and stopped. Commander Park was not alone. There were 3 aliens standing in the room. They were Velans. Do-yun recognized them immediately. The Velans were one of the most powerful species in the Galactic Consortium. They had silver-white skin, tall bodies, and eyes that glowed in shades of purple. They moved slowly and spoke even slower. Everything about them felt ancient and careful. Commander Park looked tired. More than tired, he looked afraid. Do-yun, he said, sit down. Do-yun sat. He looked at the Velans, then back at the commander. What is happening? Commander Park did not answer right away. He rubbed his face with both hands. Then he said, the Velan Dominion has made a request, a formal request. They want a human to marry one of their people. Do-yun blinked. What? A political marriage, Commander Park continued. A bonding ceremony between a human male and a Velan female. They have chosen you. For a long moment, Do-yun did not speak. He thought he had heard wrong. He waited for someone to laugh to tell him this was a joke. No one laughed. Me, he finally said. Why me? I am an engineer. I fix air filters and power systems. I am nobody. One of the Velans stepped forward. She was older than the others, her silver skin marked with faint lines. When she spoke, her voice was deep and smooth. You are not nobody, she said. You are the one we have chosen. Your genetic markers are compatible. Your health records are excellent. You are young and strong. You are perfect. Do-yun stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Genetic markers? What are you talking about? I am not some kind of product you can just pick from a list. Do-yun, Commander Park's voice was sharp. Sit down, please. Do-yun did not sit. His heart was beating fast. His hands were shaking. I refuse, he said. Find someone else. I am not doing this. The room went very quiet. The old Velan woman looked at Commander Park. Commander Park closed his eyes. If you refuse, the commander said slowly, the Velan Dominion will withdraw their support for Earth's membership in the consortium. We will be expelled. Every treaty we have signed will be cancelled. Every protection we have will disappear. Do-yun felt cold. You are joking. I am not joking. Commander Park opened his eyes. They were red and tired. Humanity has only been part of the consortium for 5 years. We are the youngest species, the weakest. We have no military power, no advanced technology, nothing. The only reason we are safe is because the Velans support us. If they withdraw that support. He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Do-yun understood. Without the consortium's protection, Earth would be alone. There were species out there that saw humans as animals, as pests, as food. The only thing keeping them away was the consortium's flag flying over human space. This is blackmail, Do-yun whispered. This is politics, the old Velan woman said. Her voice was calm, almost kind. We are not your enemies, young human. We are offering you an honor, a place in our dominion, a bond between our peoples. An honor, Do-yun laughed, but there was no happiness in it. You are forcing me to marry a stranger, someone I have never met, someone I do not love. Love is not required, the Velen said. Only the bond. Do-yun looked at Commander Park. He was hoping the commander would say something, would find another way, would tell the Velens to leave, but Commander Park only looked at the floor. I have a family on Earth, Do-yun said. His voice was breaking. I have a mother, a sister. I was supposed to go home next year. You may still visit them, the Velen said. The bond does not imprison you, it simply connects you to someone I do not know. To Sara, the Velen gestured toward the door. She is waiting. Would you like to meet her before the ceremony? Do-yun did not want to meet anyone. He wanted to wake up from this nightmare. But his legs moved on their own, carrying him toward the door. It opened. She was standing in the hallway alone. Her skin was silver like the others, but lighter, almost glowing. Her eyes were a deep violet and her hair was long and dark, falling past her shoulders like water. She was beautiful. That was the first thing Do-yun noticed. The second thing he noticed was that she looked just as unhappy as he felt. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Sora bowed her head slightly. I am sorry, she said. Her voice was soft, gentle, and filled with something that sounded like pain. The ceremony happened 1 hour later. There was no priest, no music, no celebration. Just a small room with silver walls and a table with 2 glowing crystals. Do-yun and Sara stood on opposite sides. The old Velen woman spoke words in a language Do-yun did not understand. Then she placed their hands together over the crystals. The light grew brighter. Do-yun felt something warm move through his body, like electricity but softer. Then it was over. The bond is complete, the old Velen said. Do-yun looked at Sara. She was looking at him too. Her violet eyes were wet but no tears fell. What happens now? Do-yun asked. No one answered. Sara pulled her hand away from his. She turned and walked out of the room without looking back. Do-yun watched her go, feeling the strange warmth still moving through him. He did not know what he had just agreed to. He did not know why the Velens had chosen him. He did not know anything. But as he stood alone in that silver room, one thing was clear. His old life was over, and his new life had just begun in a way he never could have imagined. The new quarters were larger than Do-yun's old room. There was a living area with soft chairs, a kitchen with strange cooking machines, a bathroom with a pool instead of a shower, and 2 bedrooms on opposite sides of the space. The station had prepared everything quickly, too quickly, like they had known this was coming. Do-yun did not use the new kitchen. He did not use the pool. He did not use the soft chairs. Every morning he woke up before the artificial sunrise, put on his work uniform and left before Sara could see him. Every night he came back late after the artificial sunset and went straight to his room. He was avoiding her. He knew it was childish. He knew it was unfair. But every time he saw her, he remembered that he had not chosen this, that his life had been taken from him, that he was married to a woman he did not know, from a species that had threatened his entire planet. Woojin found him in the engine room 3 days after the ceremony. Do-yun was under a large machine, fixing something that was not really broken. He needed to keep his hands busy. He needed to not think. You look terrible, Woojin said. Do-yun did not come out from under the machine. Go away. I brought you lunch. Woojin sat down on the floor next to him. Rice and chicken, from the human food section, not that weird purple stuff the Velens eat. I am not hungry. You have not eaten properly in 3 days, the kitchen staff told me. Woojin pushed the food container closer. Eat, then we can talk. Do-yun crawled out from under the machine. His face was dirty with oil and dust. He looked at the food, then at Woojin. There is nothing to talk about, he said. There is a lot to talk about. You got married to an alien without telling anyone. The whole station is talking about it. I did not have a choice. I know, Woojin's voice was gentle. I heard what happened. Everyone heard. but hiding in the engine room is not going to help. Do-yun opened the food container and started eating. He was hungrier than he had realized. What am I supposed to do? Pretend everything is fine, have dinner with her, watch movies together. You could start by saying hello. I said hello at the ceremony. That was 3 days ago. Woojin leaned back against the machine. Look, I know this is hard, I know you are angry, but Sora is stuck in this too, right? She did not choose you any more than you chose her. Do-yun stopped eating. He had not thought about it that way. That night he came home earlier than usual. The living area was dark, but he could see light coming from under Sora's bedroom door. He stood in the hallway for a long time, trying to decide what to do. Finally, he walked to her door and knocked. Sora. There was silence. Then the door opened. Sora was wearing simple sleeping clothes. Her silver skin looked pale in the low light. Her violet eyes were tired. Yes, she said. Do-yun did not know what to say. He had not planned this far. I wanted to say hello. Sora looked at him for a long moment. Then very slowly she nodded. Hello. They stood there looking at each other. The silence was awkward and heavy. Would you like some tea? Sora finally asked. I learned how to make earth tea. It is probably not very good. Do-yun almost said no, but then he saw something in her eyes, something that looked like hope, or maybe loneliness. Okay, he said. They sat in the living area while Sora made tea. She moved carefully around the kitchen, like she was afraid of making a mistake. The tea she brought him was too weak and slightly cold, but Do-yun drank it anyway. Thank you, he said. Sora sat across from him. She held her own cup but did not drink from it. You have been avoiding me, she said. It was not a question. Yes. I understand. She looked down at her tea. I would avoid me too. Why did you say sorry? Do-yun asked suddenly. At the ceremony, the first thing you said to me was sorry. Why? Sora was quiet for a long time. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. Because I know what was taken from you, your freedom, your choice, your future. She finally looked up at him. Among my people the bond is sacred, it is supposed to be a gift, but this was not a gift, it was a cage. Then why did you agree to it? I volunteered. Do-yun stared at her. You volunteered to marry a stranger from a species you have never met. Yes. Why? Sora shook her head. I cannot tell you, not yet, maybe not ever. She put down her teacup. But I want you to know something. I did not come here to hurt you. I did not come here to trap you. I came here because I believed. I believed it was the right thing to do. Do-yun did not understand. Nothing about this situation felt right. But there was something in Sora's voice that made him believe her. Over the next few weeks, things slowly changed. Do-yun started coming home earlier. He and Sora had dinner together sometimes. The meals were awkward at first. They did not know what to talk about, but slowly they learned. Sora asked about Earth. She wanted to know everything. What did the sky look like? What did the ocean smell like? Were there really billions of people living in one small planet? Do-yun showed her pictures and videos. He told her about his home in Seoul, about his mother's cooking, about his sister's terrible singing. Sora listened to everything with wide eyes and careful attention. In return, Sora told him about the Velen Dominion. She told him about their ancient cities made of crystal, about their songs that lasted for days, about their children who were born knowing how to speak. Your people are very different from us, Do-yun said one night. Yes, Sora agreed. But also the same, we love our families, we fear death, we hope for the future. She paused. We make mistakes. Do-yun noticed other things about Sora. She never ate when he was watching. She flinched at loud sounds. At night, he could hear her whispering in her own language. The words sounded sad. Sometimes they sounded like prayers. Why are humans considered dangerous? Do-yun asked her one evening. Sora looked surprised by the question. Who told you that? No one. I read it in a consortium report. It said that several species consider humans to be unstable and potentially dangerous. Sora was quiet for a moment. Then she said, because you survive things you should not. What do you mean? Your planet has had 5 major extinction events. Your species has survived wars, famines, plagues, and disasters that would have destroyed any other intelligent life. You are not the strongest. You are not the smartest. You are not the most advanced. She looked at him with something like wonder in her eyes. But you never stop fighting. You never give up. And that frightens some species very much. It frightens you. Sora shook her head slowly. No, it gives me hope. Do-Yun did not fully understand what she meant. But late that night, as he lay in his bed, he thought about her words, about survival, about never giving up. And for the first time since the ceremony, he felt something other than anger. He felt curious. There was more to Sora than she was showing him. There was more to this marriage than politics. There was a secret hiding behind her violet eyes. And Do-Yun was starting to want to know what it was. The alarm woke Do-Yun from a deep sleep. Red lights were flashing in his room. A mechanical voice was repeating the same message over and over. All personnel remain in your quarters. The station is now in lockdown. This is not a drill. Do-Yun jumped out of bed and ran to the living area. Sora was already there, standing by the window, looking out at the stars. Her face was pale, even paler than usual. What is happening? Do-Yun asked. War, Sora whispered, or the beginning of one. Do-Yun turned on the communication screen. News reports were flooding in from every direction. A Velan warship had been destroyed near Consortium space. 3,000 crew members were dead. The Velans were blaming the Korath, a rival species known for their military power and short tempers. The Korath were denying everything. Both sides were moving their fleets into position. This is bad, Do-Yun said. This is worse than bad. Sora turned away from the window. Her hands were shaking. If war starts between the Velans and the Korath, the entire consortium will be pulled into it. Millions will die, maybe billions. Do-Yun sat down heavily on the couch. He was an engineer. He fixed machines. He did not know anything about war or politics or alien conflicts, but he knew enough to understand that this was serious. The lockdown lasted for 3 days. Do-Yun could not go to work. He could not leave the quarters. All he could do was watch the news and wait. The situation was getting worse every hour. Velan ships were gathering at the border. Korath ships were doing the same. Diplomats were talking, but no one was listening. During those 3 days, Do-Yun watched Sora carefully. She was not acting normal. She spent hours on her personal communication device, speaking in rapid Velan that Do-Yun could not understand. Sometimes she would disappear into her room for a long time. When she came out, her eyes were red, like she had been crying. On the 3rd night, Do-Yun woke up to the sound of Sora's voice. She was in the living area, speaking to someone on the screen. Do-Yun stayed in the shadows of the hallway and listened. The person on the screen was the old Velan woman from the ceremony, Elder Kira. Her voice was cold and hard. You must do what you were sent to do, Elder Kira was saying. Time is running out. I cannot, Sora said. Her voice was breaking. Not like this. He deserves to know the truth. The truth will destroy everything. You know this. Then let it be destroyed. Sora was crying now. I will not deceive him. I will not use him. He is a good person. He does not deserve this. Elder Kira's eyes narrowed. You are letting your feelings cloud your judgment. Remember why you volunteered. Remember what is at stake. I remember, Sora wiped her tears, but I have changed my mind. I cannot do this. The screen went dark. Sora stood alone in the living room, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Do-Yun stepped out of the shadows. Cannot do what? Sora spun around. Her face was wet with tears. Her violet eyes were wide with fear. How long have you been listening? she asked. Long enough. Do-yun walked closer to her. His heart was beating fast, but his voice was calm. What is going on, Sara? What are you not telling me? What were you sent to do? For a long moment, Sara did not speak. She just stood there looking at him with those sad, beautiful eyes. Then slowly, she sat down on the couch. Her whole body seemed to collapse. My people are dying, she said. Do-yun sat down across from her. What do you mean? There is a plague. Sara's voice was barely a whisper. A genetic sickness that has been spreading through the Velan population for centuries. It attacks our ability to reproduce. Every generation, fewer and fewer children are born. Our scientists have tried everything. Medicine, technology, genetic engineering, nothing works. The plague adapts. It evolves. It destroys us from the inside. Do-yun felt a chill run down his spine. How bad is it? Very bad. In the last 100 years, our birth rate has fallen by 70%. In another 100 years, there will be no more Velan children. In 200 years, our species will be extinct. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Do-yun did not know what to say. He had never imagined that a species as powerful as the Velans could be dying. Why are you telling me this? He asked. Sara looked at him directly. Because your species is the only hope we have left. I do not understand. Human DNA is different from every other species in the galaxy. Sara leaned forward, her eyes intense. Your genetics are adaptive, flexible. They can change and adjust to almost any condition. Our scientists believe that if Velan genetics are combined with human genetics, the resulting children might be immune to the plague. Do-yun felt the blood drain from his face. Children, you mean? Yes, Sara's voice was shaking. That is why they chose you. That is why I was sent here. They wanted me to have a child with you. A hybrid child that might carry the cure to our sickness. Do-yun stood up so fast his head felt dizzy. You were going to use me, like some kind of experiment. No, Sara stood up too. I mean, yes, that was the plan, but I was supposed to do it without telling you. I was supposed to seduce you, to trick you, to make you think it was natural. Tears were falling down her silver cheeks. But I could not do it. Every time I looked at you, every time you were kind to me, every time you made me tea or showed me pictures of your home, I could not lie to you anymore. Do-yun's hands were shaking. His whole body was shaking. He did not know if he was angry or scared or both. Is this why the Velans are supporting Earth in the consortium? He asked. To get access to human genetics. Sara nodded. Partly. They have been studying humans for years, looking for the right match, the right genetic combination. And they found me. You are the best match they have ever found. Your genetic markers are perfect. If anyone can produce a hybrid child that survives, it is you. Do-yun turned away from her. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Velan and Koreth ships were preparing to destroy each other. And somewhere in his own home, his wife had just told him that their entire marriage was a lie. I trusted you, he said quietly. I know, Sara's voice was broken. And I am sorry, I am so sorry, but I could not keep lying. You deserve to know the truth. Do-yun did not turn around. What happens now? I do not know. Sara walked toward him slowly. But I want you to understand something. I did not volunteer for this mission because I wanted to trick anyone. I volunteered because I read about humans, about your history, about your wars and your famines and your plagues, about how you survived when you should have died 1,000 times. She stood beside him, looking out at the same stars. I thought if anyone could understand what it means to fight for survival, it would be your kind. I thought you might be different from the others, that you might help us willingly if you knew the truth. Do-yun finally looked at her, and now? Sara met his eyes. Now I just hope you can forgive me. The red alarm lights continued to flash. The mechanical voice continued to repeat its warning. War was coming. The galaxy was falling apart. But in that small room, two people stood in silence, trying to understand what they had lost, and what they might still find. Do-yun did not sleep that night. He sat in his room, staring at the wall, thinking about everything Sora had told him. The plague, the dying species, the plan to use him like a breeding animal. Every thought made him angrier. By morning, he had made a decision. He found Woojin in the engine room, hiding from the lockdown like everyone else. When Woojin saw his face, he knew something was wrong. "What happened?" Woojin asked. Do-yun told him everything. The words came out fast and messy like water breaking through a dam. Woojin listened without interrupting. When Do-yun finished, Woojin sat down slowly. "That is a lot," Woojin said. "I know. What are you going to do?" Do-yun looked at his friend. "I am going to tell everyone." Woojin's eyes went wide. "You mean expose the Velens? Tell the whole consortium what they were planning?" "Yes." "That is insane." Woojin stood up and grabbed Do-yun's shoulders. "Think about this. If you expose them, you will start a political disaster. The Velens are one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. They will not just accept this. "They lied to us," Do-yun said. "They lied to Earth. They lied to me. They were going to use human beings as genetic experiments without our knowledge or consent. How is that different from what the Korath are accused of doing?" "It is different because the Velens are our allies. Allies who blackmailed me into marriage." Do-yun pulled away from Woojin's grip. "I am tired of being a tool. I am tired of being controlled. The truth needs to come out." He went back to his quarters. Sora was sitting on the couch, her eyes red and tired. When she saw his face, she knew what he was planning. "Please," she said, "do not do this." "Why not?" "If you expose my people, they will be humiliated. The other species will turn against them. Some might even attack them while they are weak." Sora stood up and walked toward him. "And Earth might still be expelled from the consortium. The Velens have many enemies. Those enemies will use this scandal to hurt anyone connected to them." "I do not care." Do-yun's voice was cold. "I care about the truth." "The truth will not bring you peace." Sora reached for his hand, but he pulled away. "Please, Do-yun, let me fix this another way. Let me talk to Elder Kira. There must be another solution." "There is no other solution." Do-yun walked past her to the communication console. "I am done being quiet." He recorded a message. He told everything. The plague, the genetic experiments, the blackmail, the marriage. He named names. He showed evidence. He held nothing back. Then he sent it, not just to Earth's government, to the entire Consortium Council, to every news network, to everyone. The response was immediate. Within hours, the Horizon Gate was flooded with messages. Diplomats from every species were demanding explanations. The Velen fleet paused its approach to the Korath border. The Korath demanded answers. Earth's government called an emergency meeting. And Elder Kira requested a direct audience with the Consortium Council. Do-yun watched the hearing from his quarters. Sora sat beside him, silent and pale. The council chamber was filled with representatives from every species. 12 different faces, 12 different voices, 12 different opinions. Elder Kira stood in the center, alone and proud. "Is it true?" the council leader asked. "Did the Velen Dominion plan to use human genetics without consent?" Elder Kira did not look away. "Yes," she said, "it is true." The chamber exploded with noise. Voices shouted over each other. Some demanded punishment. Some demanded war. Some demanded that the Velens be expelled from the consortium immediately. Elder Kira raised her hand. The room slowly went quiet. "We are dying," she said. Her voice was calm but heavy with pain. "For 3 centuries we have watched our children grow fewer and fewer. We have buried our old and never held new babies. We have tried everything science could offer, and we failed." She looked around the room, meeting every pair of eyes. When we discovered humans, we saw hope. Their genetics were unlike anything we had ever seen. Adaptive, resilient, alive in ways we could not understand. We believed that by combining our species, we might create children who could survive the plague. So you deceived them, the council leader said. Yes, Elder Kira lowered her head. We were afraid that if we asked openly we would be refused, afraid that our enemies would learn of our weakness and destroy us, afraid that we would watch our species disappear forever. She looked up again, and Do-Yun could see tears in her ancient eyes. We are not asking for forgiveness. We are only asking for understanding. What would you do to save your children? The council was silent for a long time. Finally, the Korath representative spoke. This changes nothing about the destroyed warship. Your crimes against humans do not erase your crimes against us. We did not destroy your warship, Elder Kira said. We have evidence that proves it was an accident, a malfunction in the ship's core systems. We were about to share this evidence when this scandal broke. The Korath representative paused. Show us this evidence. The next few hours were filled with technical reports and investigations. In the end, the consortium determined that the Korath warship had indeed been destroyed by accident, not attack. The threat of war slowly faded. But the scandal remained. The council decided that the Velans would face no immediate punishment. They were too weak, too vulnerable. Punishing them now would be like kicking a dying animal. But they were required to change their methods. Any future genetic programs with other species would require full transparency and willing participation. For Earth, the Council offered a formal apology and an invitation. Humanity has shown something remarkable today, the Council leader said. One of your people was wronged. Instead of accepting it quietly, he demanded the truth. He put his own safety at risk for the sake of honesty. This is admirable. Perhaps humans are not as primitive as we believed. Do-Yun turned off the screen. His hands were shaking. He had done it. He had exposed the truth. He had changed the course of galactic politics. But he did not feel like a hero. He looked at Sara. She was still sitting beside him, staring at the dark screen. Her face was empty, like all her emotions had been drained away. Your people will hate me now, Do-Yun said quietly. Some of them, Sara admitted, but some of them will understand. Some of them were always against the deception. They just did not have the courage to speak. What about you? Sara finally looked at him. I do not hate you. I could never hate you. Why not? I just destroyed your people's reputation. I just exposed their deepest secret to the entire galaxy. Sora smiled. It was a small smile, sad and tired but real. Because you did the right thing, she said. You did what I should have done a long time ago. You told the truth even when it was dangerous, even when it hurt. She reached for his hand. This time he did not pull away. I do not know what happens next, Sora said. But I know one thing. I am glad I met you, Do-Yun. I am glad you were the one they chose. Do-Yun did not know how to respond. The anger was still there, deep inside him. The hurt was still there too, but there was something else now, something he could not quite name. Respect maybe, or the beginning of trust. He held her hand and looked out the window at the stars. The galaxy was still spinning. The future was still uncertain. But for the first time in weeks, he felt like he had some control over his own life. And that was enough for now. 6 months had passed since the scandal. The galaxy had changed in ways no one expected. The Consortium Council, after weeks of debate, had approved a new program, a medical alliance between Earth and the Velan Dominion. Under this program, humans who volunteered could participate in genetic studies. They would be fully informed. They would give their consent freely. And they would be treated as partners, not experiments. The response from Earth was surprising. Thousands of people volunteered. Some were scientists curious about alien biology. Some were idealists who wanted to help a dying species. Some were adventurers looking for something new. Whatever their reasons, they came. The first hybrid children were expected to be born within a year. Do-yun had become something he never expected, a diplomat, a symbol, a bridge between two worlds. The consortium kept inviting him to speak at councils and conferences. They wanted to hear from the man who had demanded truth when no one else would. He hated the attention, but he accepted it because it mattered, because every time he spoke, he reminded the galaxy that humans were not weak. They were not primitive. They were something else entirely. They were stubborn. Woojin had stayed on the Horizon Gate. He was still fixing engines and making jokes and being the best friend anyone could ask for. Every week, he and Do-yun would have dinner together. They would eat Earth food and drink Earth beer and pretend that everything was normal. "So," Woojin said one night, "are you ever going to tell me what is going on with you and Sora?" Do-yun almost choked on his rice. "What do you mean?" "I mean you two live together, you have dinner together every night, you watch movies together, you finish each other's sentences." Woojin grinned. "That is not a political marriage anymore, that is just marriage." Do-yun did not answer. He looked down at his food and thought about the last 6 months. It was true that things had changed between him and Sora. After the scandal, they had talked, really talked, for hours and days and weeks. They had shared their fears and their hopes and their dreams. They had learned about each other's cultures and histories and families. Sora had taught him Velen songs. Do-yun had taught her how to cook Korean food. She was terrible at it, but she never gave up trying. They had also fought, many times, about the past, about the lies, about things that could not be undone. But after every fight they came back together. They talked, they listened, they tried to understand. And somewhere along the way, something had changed. Do-yun did not know when it happened. Maybe it was the night Sora cried in his arms after receiving news that her grandmother had died. Maybe it was the morning he woke up and realized the first thing he wanted to see was her face. Maybe it was all the small moments in between, the shared meals, the quiet conversations, the gentle touches that meant more than words. He did not know if it was love. He did not even know if aliens and humans could love each other in the same way. But he knew that he did not want to imagine his life without her. One evening, Commander Park called Do-yun to his office. There was a document on the desk. "The consortium has approved your annulment," Commander Park said. "If you want to end the marriage, you can. No political consequences. No punishment. Earth will support whatever you decide." Do-yun looked at the document for a long time. His name was already printed on it. All he had to do was sign. "What happens to Sora if I sign this?" he asked. "She returns to the Velen Dominion. She will probably be reassigned somewhere else. Another diplomatic mission, another planet." Commander Park leaned back in his chair. "She volunteered to accept the annulment quietly. She said she did not want to trap you anymore." Do-yun picked up the document. He read every word carefully. Then he put it down. "I am not signing this," he said. Commander Park raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "May I ask why?" Do-yun thought about the question. There were many answers he could give, political answers, practical answers, safe answers. But he decided to give the honest one. "Because I do not want her to leave," he said simply. Commander Park smiled. It was a small smile, almost invisible, but it was there. "I was hoping you would say that," he said. Do-yun found Sora on the observation deck. It was their favorite place on the station, a large window that showed the stars in all directions. Earth was visible as a tiny blue dot in the distance. Sora was standing alone, looking out at the darkness. She turned when she heard him approach. "The commander talked to you," she said. "It was not a question." "Yes." "Did you sign the papers?" "No." Sora's violet eyes widened. "Why not?" Do-yun walked closer to her. He stopped when they were only a few steps apart. When I was a child, he said, my mother used to tell me stories about my grandfather. He lived through the war. He lost everything. His home, his family, his country, but he survived. He rebuilt. He started a new family. He found happiness again. He looked out at the stars. I asked my mother once, how did he do it? How did he survive when everything was destroyed? And she said, your grandfather had a simple rule. Every day he chose to try, not to succeed, not to win, just to try. No matter how hard it was, no matter how much it hurt, he kept choosing to try. He looked back at Sora. I am not signing those papers because I am choosing to try. I do not know what is going to happen. I do not know if this will work, but I want to find out. Sora was crying. Silver tears rolled down her silver cheeks, but she was smiling too. You are the strangest human I have ever met, she said. You have only met one human. Yes, and he is very strange, she laughed, and the sound was like music. But he is also very kind and very brave, and I think I am very lucky that he was the one they chose. Do-Yun took another step closer. They were standing face to face now, close enough to touch. Humans do not survive because we are strong, he said. We survive because we keep choosing to try, even when it is stupid, even when it hurts. He reached out and took her hand. I am choosing to try, he said. Will you try with me? Sora looked at their hands, silver and brown together. Then she looked up at his face. Yes, she whispered, I will try with you. They stood there on the observation deck, holding hands, looking out at the stars. Behind them, the station hummed with life. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited with all its mysteries and dangers. But for that moment, none of it mattered. They had found something rare in the vastness of space. Not love, maybe, not yet, but the beginning of something, a connection, a trust, a choice to face the future together. And for two people who had started as strangers, forced into a marriage they did not want, that was everything. Do-Yun squeezed Sora's hand gently. She squeezed back. What happens now? She asked. Do-Yun smiled. I do not know, but I think that is the point. We figure it out together. Sora leaned her head against his shoulder. Her silver hair brushed his cheek. Together, she repeated, I like the sound of that. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine. Somewhere in the distance, Earth spun slowly on its axis, and in the quiet of the observation deck, two hearts from different worlds began to beat in the same rhythm. Not because they were forced to, but because they chose to. And in the end, that made all the difference.